The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Hi, Max. It's going well. How are you? Oh. I mean, would you just be playing retro games on your CRT through those consoles? Because, I mean, I doubt you'd really want to be playing anything too modern on a CRT. Oop. All that time I saved by pumping my arm up and down. Gone. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that looks pretty bad. I think there is a setting in the SNES Classic, to change the aspect ratio and get rid of the black bars. Ah. I think that there might be just... It, I think it's just one of the basic screen settings. I don't know, I haven't really played around on the settings in this thing too much. Oh. Alright, well, maybe I'm wrong then. Yeah, Chrono Trigger is kind of an interesting exclusion, but I mean, at the same time, we kind of already have a couple of Square RPGs. I'm not really too upset with the lack of it. I mean, and you know, the whole HDMI output thing. I mean, that it's probably kind of expensive to put in multiple different outputs. And you know, the thing's already, you know, struggling for real estate on the console itself as is. Yeah, I think the only modern platform it's on is Steam. Yeah, it's not on Switch Online at all, which is weird. I mean, all of the Final Fantasy games are on it, and most. I mean, Dragon Quest has those remakes, I guess. You can't play like the originals, but. Alright, which one of these was it? Alright, let's see if I can remember how to do this. No, that is not how to do it. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the HD 2D stuff. Nope. Last time I played this, I got this second try. That didn't work. Nope. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of the way they looked. I think it's overdone, at the very least. I don't know. I'll admit that I didn't really play any of them until the Dragon Quest III remake, and I'm still not 100% sold on the art style. Nope. I'm gonna get this. I don't want to do Spore Spawn. I'm gonna lose all my time to doing this crap. There we go. I'm trying to do a glitch called Mock Ball, which basically makes the Morph Ball move at the same speed as Samus's full running speed, which is necessary if you want to do this without the speed booster. And by doing this, I'm getting super missiles early, meaning I don't have to fight the second boss, being Spore Spawn. It's one of the most common sequence breaks in this game. You get that in Norfair somewhere. It's in a place colloquially known as Bubble Mountain. Is it Norfair? Actually, might not be. Yes, actually. I think it's Norfair. Damn. Should probably be careful here. Oh, that. I mean, if nothing else, there is that CRT filter, which I know is not everyone's cup of tea. Personally, I've never been too picky when it comes to CRT stuff. Like, it looks nice, but, you know, and I guess that is the way this game is intended to be played. Well, I mean, no, I've seen games on a SNES games on a CRT. It's just I'm not too picky about it. It's, you know, if I can't get it to, you know, if I don't have a CRT to play them on, I'm not really too bothered by it. You know, it's only dawned on me that I still have not saved this game once. Probably should do that. Yeah, I should. I don't actually remember where the nearest save spot is. I think it's here. Yeah, that's it. What versions of Twilight Princess did I play? I've played a little bit of the Wii and GameCube versions. But the only version I've ever actually finished was Twilight Princess HD. Can't say I'm a massive fan of any of them. I mean, I think, you know, the Wii U version's easily the definitive version of Twilight Princess, if only because they shortened some of the more tedious aspects of it. I own all three versions, but that's just because I like collecting. I think it looks fine. Honestly, I don't think Twilight Princess is a particularly good-looking game in general. I was never a huge fan of its art style. And I mean, I think even disregarding that, you know, it looks passable enough that it's, you know, I still think, regardless of any problems with the textures, I think it's an upgrade over the original. Let's say that. I think that's just a map room. That is true. They have the wheel menu. Though, to be honest, I'm not, like, you know, I think the wheel menu works really well for what it is. Oh, come on. Nope, glad I saved. This is where you got stuck? This is pretty early on into the game. Was it perhaps the boss here that you got stuck on, Spore Spawn? Link to the Past video is coming along nicely. I'm making headway on it. Nope, okay. Well, I guess it's just gonna be like that, huh? Blue, come on. Oh, I think I know what you're... You got stuck in the same place a lot of people get stuck on. I'd imagine. Let's see. This room right here. Oh, okay, maybe not. A lot of people get stuck on this room right here just because they don't realize that there's actually a run button in the game. Which I feel like is partially the game's fault, but also partially their fault. I say that as someone who got stuck here my first time, too. Oh, come on. Yes, my favorite 2D Zelda is Zelda 1. My favorite 3D Zelda is Majora's Mask. Oh, come on. I like Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is my favorite game ever. For me, it's Majora's Mask, then Ocarina of Time, then Zelda 1. Oh, come on. Samus, jump. There we go. Oh, N64 by far. Majora's Mask 3D is garbage. A remake that completely misses the point of the original in every way. Yeah, so here's the thing about Majora's Mask 3D. It's that you're not, like... I think that's actually a... I think I need power bombs for that. The issue with Majora's Mask 3D, mostly, is that... I think there's a... Sorry, I'm a little distracted here. Majora's Mask 3D dumbed down a lot of the... I wouldn't even say dumbed down is the right word. It's more like it just kind of like... made a lot of conveniences, but in the process, those conveniences just completely, you know, destroyed any semblance of just challenge or... Like, okay, so... I mean, people have talked to death about why this version of the game is not... why Majora's Mask 3D is not good, you know? I'm far from the first person to raise these complaints, but... I think the one that really gets me, and one that I don't see a whole lot of other people see, is... in the original version, whenever you played the Song of Double Time, it skipped you ahead to the start of the next 12-hour segment. And that was fine, because that gave you, like, a little bit of leeway, you know? But it ultimately still made the game... still made... you know, playing the game... Alright, hold on, I need to focus here. Alright, well, I didn't get the quick kill. There we go. So that gave the, you know, player a little bit of leeway with how they, you know, went about exploring the 3-day system without, you know, making it too easy. Majora's Mask 3D instead lets the player skip to any hour of the day. Like, any hour of the... whenever you play the Song of Double Time, you could skip ahead to whatever hour of the 3-day cycle you want to skip to. And that just, like, completely misses the point of the 3-day cycle. Right? Now you're no longer... because the entire point of that 3-day cycle was that you were supposed to plan out your 3 days as effectively as possible. And if you don't do that in the original version, you're punished with either having to reset the cycle if you just completely miss the event that you needed to go for, or you were punished with just having to wait a longer period of time than you otherwise needed to. Right? Like, the tedium of having to wait for things to happen was itself a punishment for bad gameplay. So, in Majora's Mask 3D, where you no longer have to do that, where you no longer have to wait for you no longer have to, you're no longer punished for, not planning out your day properly. It's just completely misses, like, why even bother planning out your day when, you could very easily just like, reset the time and reset the cycle and lose very little time by doing so. That's the thing that bothered me the most personally. I mean, there are other things. They messed up the way Deku Link's movement works, etc. Right, actually, I need to be... Yes, they changed the bosses as well. And that was also very not great. Frankly, a lot of the changes just kind of insult the player's intelligence. You're no longer, like, trusted to figure out, how to beat each boss. By the way, I got these out of order. I was supposed to get these before I killed that last boss. But I did a sequence break. And that sequence break is absolutely 100% intended. Alright, where are we? It's intended by the game. Like, you're not... So, that's the thing about Super Metroid. It's that it's a game that's intentionally designed for you to sequence break. That's kind of the point. Right, I need... That's a shortcut. Nope. I'm playing on a SNES Classic. my favorite game on the SNES Classic, it would be this. I mean, this is just, it's my favorite Super Nintendo game in general. One of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of the games on the SNES Classic. Oh, come on. I didn't have this issue last time, game. Probably should be a bit more careful. Or I can go ahead and do the dangerous play and get the wave beam early. Yeah, I mean, Chrono Trigger is a very obvious missed game, especially since the Super Nintendo Classic has fewer games than the NES Classic. It is very odd, you know, that Chrono Trigger, you know, Final Fantasy IV, and also Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 aren't on here. No, it was not meant to be a tech demo. Star Fox does, it does take some, it's definitely... There we go. Star Fox is kind of hard to really recommend to someone who's never played it before. I definitely think the shooting controls are something you can get used to. By the way, that was another sequence break. Usually you're supposed to loop back around here and get that. Yeah, Star Fox 64 is a lot better. Though, to be honest, I'm not really a big Star Fox guy in general. I've never been too big on the series. I think my favorite Star Fox game is Command, which is kind of unpopular, I think. I don't know, I'm not, like, too well-versed in the Star Fox fandom. In the fan base. Alright, come on. Star Fox Zero, I own it. I have not played it. I don't really have the intention on ever playing it. It does not look like a very fun game. Adventures, second verse, same as the first. I also I own it, have not played it, don't really have the intention on it. Hey, Xenon Blade. probably could have made that. Is this the save room? Yes, okay. Ow. Crocomeyer's not wanting to play nice today. Ow. Have I started this game before streaming? No, this is... I mean, this is... If you're asking if this is my first time playing, no, definitely not. If you're asking if I started playing this game tonight before I started streaming, no, this is... I've been live for a little over an hour and I've gotten this far in the game. Ow. Ow. Notice how they conveniently put these power bombs right here? These are not usually the first power bombs you get. Oh, just a little... Yeah, okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, this... I mean, this is about a third of the way through, I want to say. Maybe a little less than that, but... I've beaten one of the 4 bosses required to beat the game. Okay, come on. I'm gonna give that one more shot because I want to, but... Nope, okay. Well... I'm gonna orphan that missile pack. Oh no. I don't want to, but... I want to get a good time playing this game. Oh, come on! Well, luckily I saved... Well, I guess it was right before Crocomire, so I guess I'm doing that again. That's annoying. Yeah, it's not that far back. I'll be fine. It's really more annoying than anything else. Okay. Alright, well, at least I got this time. Okay. Alright, this time I'm not gonna die. Hopefully. Oh, come on. Fine, I'll go this way. I'll go the intended route. Definitely going a lot slower this time than I did when I played it by myself a few days ago. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, what's over here again? Still probably the best 2D Metro. Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I probably... Yeah, I could have saved there. Oh, well. Had to fight Crocomire twice. This is by far the best 2D Metroid. Dread is good. I really like Dread. But... I feel like it doesn't quite understand what made Super work. Right? It's still hanging on to a lot of the less great aspects of Fusion. And like there are a lot of sequence breaks you can do in Dread, but it's kind of a similar problem that you know, Breath of the Wild has, where it's like it's trying to copy this one aspect of, you know, a beloved game without really understanding why it worked so well in that game. In Dread's case, you could do a lot of sequence breaking in Dread, but I don't think I've ever gotten to a point where any of the sequence breaking is something that makes the game easier, right? Like, in this game, whenever, say, you get the wave beam early, you do that, and that means that you have to loop around the map one fewer times, right? Just one less time. You don't have to do it as much. And that's cool. That gives you, like, an incentive to sequence break. In Dread, the only sequence break that I've ever actually been able to find was... all it did was, you know, let me fight Kraid in a slightly different way. And, like, I didn't even really find it. I was told after the fact that you could do it. The sequence breaks just aren't as intuitive, and they aren't as meaningful in Dread. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Ugh. Accidentally fell off this thing before I could get the gravity boots. Fun. Oh, not gravity boots, sorry. Gravity suit. Oh, God. Oh, God. I'm glad I'm not planning on doing Suitless Meridia anytime soon. Yeah, you can get the morph bombs early. That's what I did. Or the power bombs, rather. Morph bombs, like, there's basically no way to get them earlier than you already do. I forgot the ice beam. All this sequence breaking, and I just forget, like, the most important part. It's like the thing that lets me get out of here. Yeah, I was really positive on Dread my first time playing it. Like, I was thinking to myself that it was, like, probably tied for Super as the best 2D Metroid. Then my second time playing it, I was, you know, a little less, you know, overtly positive on it. Because I actually, my second time playing it was almost immediately after my first time playing it. And then, you know, by the time I played it the third time, I realized, okay, you know, this is a great game, but it still pales in comparison to Super. Which, I mean, that's nothing to be ashamed of. I think most games pale in comparison to Super Metroid. Alright, this time for real. Something that I've noticed about this game is that the progression is very front-heavy. Meaning that, like, the vast majority of the upgrades in this game are grabbed in, like, the first half of the game. Because right now, I've only beaten the first of the 4 major bosses, and I want to say how many more, like, required, you know, well, quote-unquote required, because, you know, things that are actually required in this game are actually few and far between. Like, upgrades that are intended to be required, how many of those actually do I have left? I have Gravity Suit, I have Plasma Beam, I have Space Jump, I have Screw Attack, and that's about it? That's, I mean, 4 required items in you know, that's not a lot. Not when I've already gotten so many. Alright, see ya. Happy birthday to your aunt. Or aunt, however you want to pronounce it. Ah, dang it. Oh, I'm not doing well against him this time. Come on. Getting a lot of slow patterns on him, too. Got him. Alright. Fantoon's always the boss that... I don't want to say I struggle with the most, but the one that always gives me the most anxiety fighting. It's not this one I want. Is this worth going for? I forget what's in this room over here. Right. Alright, so nothing that's really worthwhile. I'll keep that in mind for next time I play this game. Thank you, Reserve Tank. I'm glad you exist. The Reserve Tanks are so funny to me because, like, I still have, to this day, I still have no idea what the point of them is. Which one of these was it? Oh, okay. Well, glad I saved. Been dying a lot more this time than I did last time. One thing's for sure, I'm certainly not getting my best time. My personal best here, if you will. No. I don't actually think you can do damage to the robot guys. Oops. I accidentally did a power bomb. Magic pancakes. The icon for the gravity suit kind of looks like a stack of pancakes. Might as well save again. That is a... Come on. Ugh. Alright. 10 health. I can do this. That is a joke from Terminal Montage, though, so... It ain't fully mine. I have an N64. I mean, I don't tend to play a ton of games on my N64, but I have an N64. I don't feel like getting that. I think that's a energy tank, but... Ow. Yeah, I mean, the N64 emulation on the Wii U wasn't the greatest, so I don't think you're missing out on a whole lot. Really, the only thing that I'm glad that I went out of my way to buy on the Wii U eShop was the DS Zeldas. And even then, like, there's no way we're going to be getting a DS emulator in the next like 2 years. So yeah, that's true. RCA cables. I mean, it uses AV. I, I I think the standard one's AV. I think you can get RCA for them though. Because the standard N64 AV cable's the exact same as the GameCube, and actually, it used the same one as the Super Nintendo as well. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I went too far. I can never remember where to go in this stupid maze. Why are GameCube games so expensive to buy used? The easy answer is that people are nostalgic for GameCube games. And Nintendo, up until now, has done a pretty poor job of supplying people with those GameCube games. If you want a slightly more complicated answer, GameCube in general is in a weird position in that it's just niche enough that, where's the stupid... I can never remember. It's just niche enough, that... You know, it's popular, because obviously it's a Nintendo platform. They're all going to be popular, you know, to some degree. But it's also... well, I mean, maybe they'll go down in price because of NSO. It's kind of hard to say for certain. I mean, there are certainly still a bunch of N64 games that are on NSO and also expensive, but a lot of them will go down because of NSO. Where's this stupid... Where's the... I had no problem finding this last time. I don't get it. The other... So, I mean, GameCube... the GameCube was just popular enough that it has a following, but not popular enough to, you know... That it's, you know, there's so many of them out there that it's going to be easy to find. Because, you know, like the Wii... You know, I'd say that the Wii is firmly in the same territory as the GameCube. Where's the stupid thing? Is it there? There it is. Okay. It's you know, the Wii was immensely popular, you know. But you could still find them because they sold so well. My favorite Mario game? I mean, I guess you're including spin-offs. Either way, my favorite Mario game is Mario Galaxy. Yeah, Mario Galaxy isn't too bad. I think Xenoblade typically costs a lot more than that, though. I could be wrong, but I don't think Actually, I don't think I've ever seen a copy of Xenoblade in person, but... Or at least not like the original Wii release. No, Sunshine really isn't like Banjo-Kazooie, any more so than Mario 64 was. Honestly, Sunshine is the only Mario game that I just straight up call bad. Like, the only mainline Mario game, at least. Oh, come on. Alright, well, guess I'm doing this. There are a lot of things wrong with it. It's, honestly, its biggest thing, it's just unfinished. Sunshine is just, like, embarrassingly unfinished. Like, because they rushed Sunshine. They rushed a lot of GameCube games. GameCube games, like, early GameCube games were very rushed. It doesn't control well in the slightest, for starters. I think that's its biggest issue, is that Mario just isn't fun to control at all. I think that way is how I get the spring ball. I don't really need the spring ball. It's kind of nice, but that's really it. Wind Waker was absolutely... Oh yeah, Wind Waker was notoriously rushed. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, Mario 64 has far better controls than Sunshine. Game, do you mind, please? Now there are people who fight, who will debate that. There are people who like swear by Sunshine's controls, but I don't know, man. I guess I can't really talk because I think Super Metroid has some fantastic controls, and you know. Thing is, I think that Super Metroid's controls are clunky on purpose. Like, they are specifically designed so that it is difficult to get the hang of at first, right? I believe this is a save room. Might as well. I've been dying too much tonight to not save more often. It's not worth going for this one because this one is a pain in the butt to get. This is probably the most difficult item in the game. That one right there. Yeah, both versions of Wind Waker are needlessly expensive. Ah, okay. Well, accidentally killed that guy. Did not want to. I mean, yeah, I can understand that. I personally prefer the heavy bloom of Wind Waker HD, but that's probably just because that's the version I played first. I mean, that was my first Zelda game in general. Um, Actually, maybe I'm not actually supposed to go there. I always forget Meridia. Meridia is the area of the game that I have memorized the least. Because, I mean, can you blame me? Meridia sucks. No one likes Meridia. Isn't there... Okay. I mean, I guess I could kind of understand what you're talking about there. I don't know. I prefer the look of HD. Plus, I mean, HD is pretty much undeniably the better playing game. Whew. Yep, definitely not getting my best time in this one. There's also another super missile back there that I missed. Back in the sandy area. Kinda wish I got that one, but... Thing is, at this point in the game, the only... It's not really worth going for regular missiles anymore. Metroid retrospective video when? Probably never. Because the thing is about... I don't really like making videos unless I feel like I have something to say about the subject at hand, or at the very least, in the case of whenever I eventually get around to making, like, videos on the Oracle games or Minish Cap or whatever. At the very least, if, you know, it would be incomplete if I didn't talk about those games. But in the case of, you know, Metroid, I don't think there's anything I could say about any particular Metroid game that hasn't already been said. Like, I really... Like, I love this game to death. This is one of my favorite games ever, but... I really don't think I could say anything about it that hasn't already been said countless times over. It's also why I haven't really made any more Professor Layton videos after my first one, because, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. I feel like other people have already covered what exactly makes the Professor Layton series so great. Right, it's not this one. There we go. Yeah, I want to go up there. Oh, come on! Yes, Minish Cap is on NSO. That was actually, I think that was like the first game they announced for NSO. If not, maybe like the second or third, but it was in the initial wave for GBA. Meridia sucks. No one likes Meridia. Played Minish Cap on the OG 3DS? You must have had an Ambassador 3DS then, because that's the only time they ever released GBA games for the 3DS. Ah, come on. That's pretty cool. Okay, now I'm definitely not getting my best time on this. I breezed through Meridia my last time playing this. So, Ambassador Program, back when the 3DS first launched, it launched at in a very expensive price. Like, very few people were actually buying it because of how expensive it was. God dang. And because of that, Nintendo lowered the price very early on. Damn it. Yeah, Nintendo lowered the price very early on, and as a thank you to people who bought the system early, they gave away free downloads of NES and GBA games. And that's the only time they ever released GBA games on the 3DS at all. Which is, it's bizarre because you'd think that would be a shoo-in. It would be so easy to do that. People were asking for, you know, GBA support on the 3DS for the longest time, and their response was like, oh, but it's too hard to make GBA work on the 3DS, which is dumb because, one, you could already get Super Nintendo working, and two, you've already gotten GBA working. There we go. Well, okay, it's... that... I'm not sure if that's an avenue I would recommend pursuing. personally. Because, I mean, that's not something that's being offered by Nintendo anymore. That's something that you basically have to buy, you know, secondhand. And I'm pretty sure Ambassador Program 3DSs go for a lot of money. Like, at that point, just buy the games individually. Yeah, well, okay. That's what I would sooner recommend you buy a GBA and a copy of Minish Cap physically than I would recommend buying an Ambassador Program 3DS. Like, you could get a GBA for, I mean, an original model, you could get for relatively cheap. Like, 80 bucks, something like that. Maybe even a little less. GBA consoles really don't sell for much. Now, GBA games, on the other hand, those can cost a pretty penny, but I don't think Minish Cap is one of the more expensive ones, surprisingly. As expensive as Zelda tends to be, I don't think Minish Cap is a particularly pricey game. Is this... No, I want to go down. Yeah, I mean, you could probably find a GBA for cheaper than that, but... Yeah, on Amazon, yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, yeah, I'd definitely just go for the... I'd go for the GBA because... You know, if you go for an Ambassador Program 3DS, not only are you probably going to be spending more money overall, but you're also just going to be limited to just those 10 GBA games. Okay, I think you're definitely looking in the wrong spot then, because Minish Cap is not that pricey. I don't have a whole lot of health here. Let's, hope not Volvagia here gives me an easy time. Ow. Not giving me the easy time I hoped for. Dang it. Should have farmed for health beforehand. I don't typically die to him. I'm glad I just saved. Have I? No, I did not. Me not learning from my mistakes. Oh, come on. I'm really floundering in Meridia. When will I learn? Come on, die. Not me. What the hell? I never died to... I never died to that guy. Botswoon, I think his name is? I mean, maybe I probably should go in with more than, like, you know, 197 health. But there isn't really a good place to farm that here. Yeah, after, well, okay, that's going to be the next Zelda video I make after the Link to the Past video, but depending on how, you know, long that takes to actually release, it is very likely that I'll be, doing a video on a non-Zelda game first. Alright. Come on, let's not die this time, please. Did that not hit? Well, I wanted to make a video on a new game, possibly. That's why I said depending on, you know, how things work out, because I want to make a video on Metroid Prime 4 when it releases, as well as the new Professor Layton game. There we go, finally. What, it hit me as it was dying. That's fun. You gotta be kidding. Come on! Just fell into the pit of despair. It's like if Ace Attorney was fun. It's kind of hard to describe it. It is a puzzle visual novel. It's just, a lot of the puzzles are kind of non sequitur-y at times. Especially in the first game. No, don't do that again. Well, so the first 4 games were released on the DS. The first 3 games, however, got mobile ports, and those are the best versions of the games to play. Because Professor Layton translates very well to a mobile device. Game number 4, 5... Or, sorry, games number 5, 6, and the crossover with Phoenix Wright are all on 3DS. They're not as good, but they're still a good time. And then there's also one, like, half sequel, half spin-off starring the professor's daughter that nobody likes and is on both 3DS and Switch, and that's the only one on the Switch right now. Oh, hey, Retro. Um, and then there's also, like, that one's also on mobile, I believe. And then there's, one more spin-off, that's, on mobile, starring the professor's, son. And that one's alright. See, everyone says they're not a mobile guy. I don't really get it. It's the exact same game, in practically the same format. Like, the only reason why you wouldn't be able to play it on mobile is pride, I guess? Not to be, like, you know, antagonistic towards you for just not wanting to play on mobile, but I don't know. I personally don't think that's a... I think that's a really weird reason to exclude playing what is easily the best version of the game. The first game is called Professor Layton and the Curious Village. Sorry, I didn't see that. And that is definitely the best place to start. So the first three games kind of form a trilogy. It's kind of like a Star Wars thing, where the first three games form a trilogy, and then the next three games are their own prequel trilogy. The two trilogies aren't really connected in any way beyond the fact that they involve the same characters. Like, the prequel trilogy isn't setting up events in the original trilogy. It's more so just its own self-contained series of stories. There's also a movie that is canon, and is quite possibly the best video game movie ever made, but that's probably my bias talking. Oops. I have not seen the Silent Hill movie, no. Alright, give me your goop. Shoot your goop at me. Shoot your goop at me. Come on, where is it? No. There it is. Oh, come on. I never... Ow, ow, ow. Alright, guess I'm doing this the hard way. I have never failed that. I don't get what's going on tonight. Like, I can't do this anymore. Oh. Okay, well. Very inappropriate, yes. Alright, now for the jankiest item in the series. This Super Metroid's version of this space jump is kind of unpleasant. And it's probably like the one part of this game that I think isn't great. I don't know, it's because it's... I'm conflicted about it because, on one hand, I think that they make it very obvious that the game's controls are intentionally clunky. But on the other hand, usually there's like a point to that clunkiness, and I'm not entirely sure what the point to the clunkiness of the space jump is in this game. Ah, come on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure space jumping is so imprecise in this game that I'm pretty sure even speedrunners go out of their way to use it as little as possible. Is that the last of them? No. Yeah, I mean, doing that is incredibly difficult. Like, I think I'm decent at this game. You know, I'm better than most people playing it. Well, maybe not that far, but... I want to say I'm in the upper half of people playing this game. If only because speedrunners make up, like, a tiny fraction of people actually playing any given game. Not that I'm a speedrunner at all, meaning I'm... among people who, you know... I think I'm decent at this game, right? But there are some things that you can do in this game that I will never be able to do, and I've come to terms with that. Yeah, there's a regular at the store I work at who is a speedrunner of this game. In fact, he's like a little kid too. He's younger than I am. But he's speedrun the game enough that he's actually managed to find a like a never before discovered glitch, like in the past year. You've submitted it to the, you know, speedrunning resource, the Super Metroid speedrunning resource site. Yeah, I think it's down here. No, not here. It's up here. That's right. Here? I don't remember exactly where Ridley's lair is. don't know why I thought it was green. Yeah, the soundtrack in this game is phenomenal. Ah, almost had the cheese strat. Not sure what I messed up there, but oh well. I got it in the end. Alright, and that is the last major upgrade. Yeah, the statue boss is really difficult if you don't know what you're doing. Or Golden Chorizo, I think it's called. Oh, come on. Come on! I believe this room is usually referred to as the worst room in the game by speedrunners. How many hours have I done in the game? Do you mean in this playthrough, or just in general? In the playthrough, I'm about 3 hours in. Out of game time, at least. In game time, I'm not sure. I really forget how much real time translates to in game time in this game. I might do power bombs of shame here. Yeah, you missed a decent bit. Yeah, the health alarm in this game is not the worst ever. That title belongs to Luigi's Mansion 3. Alright, my reserve tanks are full. I think I should be fine. Ow. turn off ice and plasma here. I forget exactly how to do this. I think... That's right. Okay, well, there goes that. Can you die already, please? Alright, well... Dang it. I would have gotten that one, but I decided to try to be cute and use the beam combos. Not sure about that one, man. Alright. Let's do this again. Let's do this right. Come on, die already. There we go. Metroid movie. I don't know. I feel like out of all of Nintendo's properties, Metroid is probably the one that could work the best live action, but that's probably just because it's, you know, directly inspired by Alien. So it's kind of hard to say for certain. Is that a good idea for a fight? I mean, I feel like Doom Guy would win pretty handily. I mean, how is that fight any different from Samus beating the crap out of Ridley? Ow. I always wondered why there were just random boulders here. Like, who put them there and who's rolling them over? What was over here? Right, this was just a random power bomb. I don't need that. I thought there was... Isn't there something there? Oh, there's something here. That's right. Eh, it's just a regular missile. Okay. Actually, I think it's more worthwhile to go this way. I suppose. No, I don't need to save. I'm fine. From this point out, I'm good. Okay. Yeah, you do. Actually, no, you don't need the plasma beam to damage Ridley. You can damage him with, missiles, super missiles, any of the beam upgrades, or any of the, beam combos, I mean. I think the most efficient one is the wave beam combo. I'm not actually sure if plasma is strictly required to beat the game. I don't know. I've never beaten it without plasma, so maybe. I should be fine. Okay. Yeah, I don't need any more. Extra energy tank might be nice, I guess, but... And I know where I could get a couple of them, but I don't need it. I'd rather refill my stuff than get the extra upgrades. I guess I could save here. Yeah, I got my Switch too. I pre-ordered it. In fact, I've actually already played through this game once on my Switch too. I mean, I'm liking it well enough. It is really just, you know... It is really just a bigger Switch. That is pretty much all it is. I mean, it's nice and shiny, you know. Not really much else to say about it. Mario Kart World is pretty fun, but definitely not worth the $80. Alright. Only had to use... Well, I accidentally used a second super missile on it, but I only had to use the one more on it. Got the onion rings, got the french fries. There's the chicken nugget. And there's the ketchup. I'm gonna go ahead and use this actually. No, I think it's only going to be 70. I mean, I think it's just going to be the standard $60 on Switch 1, $70 on Switch 2. I think that was a rumor. It was very unsubstantiated, though. Okay, come on, game, please. Alright, and now I'll save the animals. There we go. Alright, wonder what my time was. Time 2:06. Alright, I got the good ending. That's not my best in-game time. My best in-game time is 1:58, but for all the mistakes I made there, I think I did decently. Yeah, I suppose she did lose her home, but I mean, I don't think that had been her home for a while. There you go, full ending, the best ending. All right. Clear rate for my rate for collecting items is 55%, huh? Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Next stream I will be for sure finishing Kingdom Hearts. But in the meantime I will be working on that Link to the Past video. I'll probably stream again soon just to just to finish Kingdom Hearts, but after that, I don't think I'm going to stream again until after I finish with the video. But beyond that, that's all for me for today. I'm glad I finished. I'm glad I decided to replay this because I just uh, replayed it a few days ago, and I got that's when I got my 158 on it. But I wanted to do it on stream this time just because this is one of my favorite games ever. So thank y'all. I'll